Hi everyone and welcome back to Just with Dara. It's the season 3 premiere, season 3 episode 1. It's been a long 2 months, but I'm back at it and I'm excited to be back at it. Excited to start recording again and giving you guys episodes each week. And I feel like the season is going to be really good. I have some nice episodes lined up, which I know I've shared some of those already on Instagram. So yeah, I think this season is going to be pretty good. And as you guys can tell by the title, today we're talking about the N-word. And today is a solo episode, but you should be expecting some guest appearances on future episodes in the upcoming weeks. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's get right into the episode. So for starters, I'll talk about where the N-word came from, what it is, and why it's not exactly a good word anyways. So it comes from a Latin word that's spelled Niger, so without the double G, which means black. And the N-word has been used a lot against black people and against people of African origins. And it dates back to times in slavery, like within the Americas in general. So that's like North America, South America, and like Central America, of course, too. So it's a derogatory term. It's a racial slur. And it's rooted in the premise that black people aren't humans. I think the best way to describe that is because some people may say, well, it just means black. So why is it such a bad word? So like I just said, it's rooted in the premise that black people aren't humans. It's a word that's been used to make black people feel inferior and useless and to make them feel unworthy and they have no place in society and they aren't as special as other people, and by other people I do mean white people, because it has been a term that was used by white people during times of slavery to make black people feel bad and to make them, like I said before, feel inferior and feel useless. And so a lot of times people say things like, oh, no one should say that at all. And why does anyone say it? If we can't say it, then just no one should say it. And it shouldn't even be a word or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so, that's something I used to agree with. I was like, oh yeah, well, just no one should say it. But then that was when I didn't really understand fully why a lot of black people today say it anyways. And so personally I don't say it, but I only don't say it because I feel I don't have the right to say it, because I feel my family was never subjected to hearing that word on a daily as an insult. And I've never been called the N-word or anything like that, but I know that if I was, I would obviously be offended as well. So that's why I don't say it personally. But I also used to think in my head, for other black people who do say it, I would not bash them per se, but I would definitely think other of them and be why are they even saying it anyways? Why would you take this word that was used to insult you and it was used to insult your ancestors? Why are you using that word to say friend or whatever, to call your friends that, stuff like that? So I never really understood it. But then I realized after some, I guess, research or whatever and different things like that, and hearing from other hearing from other people, I realized that, it's a word that a lot of black people use with each other because they're taking back that power that they were stripped from their power by white people and by those other people who were using it to offend them and as a derogatory term. So they're taking back that power and they're using it now as a term of endearment. And it's you don't have that hold on me anymore to use this word to offend me or to insult me, but now it's a word that I can use to I guess I know some people in a way use it to lift each other up, which I know may sound interesting, even contradicting, since it was used originally to insult black people. But at the same time, I feel it's not exactly for everyone to understand, but those who do use the word, they understand. I feel that's kind of what's really just important. So like I was saying earlier, with a lot of people who are saying things oh, no one should say it at all, but it's they need to understand that it's not exactly up to them to decide whether black people choose to say it or not. And so I was saying before, they're taking back that word that white people used against them, and they're now using it as a term of endearment, like I was saying before as well. And so I just think it's really important that we realize that, if you're not black, you just shouldn't say it. And that's as simple as it is, plain and simple. It's not really that hard to understand. I feel some people, I don't know what it is, they have this fascination with the word, fascination with saying it, wanting to use any chance to say it. And then the phrase N-word passes makes me so mad, because I'm what the heck is a N-word pass? Excuse me. So you shouldn't. And also black people who give people the quote pass, what is that? They're not black, so they shouldn't be saying it. I don't understand why you would be okay with your non-black friend saying that word. And I don't even think like, obviously before I knew it was bad, like, for people to ask things like, oh, can I get an N-word pass? But like, I don't think I really understood it. Because, like, in like 7th grade, when I was 12, someone asked me that. And I'm gonna assume, but I know they asked it as like a joke or whatever. But it's not even a joke. Like, they shouldn't have been making it something funny. They were like, because it was like, we were at the lunch table. And I guess I was like, wait, no, was I the only black person there? No, I wasn't the only black person there. But this kid asked me, he was like, oh, Dara, can I get the N-word pass? And I was like, what? No. And then he was like, no, no, just like for a second, like some other kids already gave it to me before, but they're not here now, so that's why I'm asking you. I was like, that's not okay. And I don't understand why they thought it was okay to give it to you. And it didn't even make, like, I don't remember what it was surrounding. I think he was doing it to be funny, but like it wasn't even really funny. Like, not really funny. It wasn't funny at all. And so with that, I was just kind of like, people shouldn't be going around asking for a pass. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand why people have such a fascination with this word. Like, it's like people want to say the words that like they know they're not supposed to say. Like, they just really have this like eagerness to say it or to use it in some sense. Like, or when listening to a song and they'll be like, oh, it's just in a song or something like that. But like, you just shouldn't be saying it at all. Like, your favorite rapper or whatever, or your favorite singer using the N-word in their song doesn't automatically give you the excuse or give you the right to say it as well, because you're not black and because you never were subjected to go through those things that a lot of black people had to. And that's why they're taking it back now as a, like, for power. And so you saying it, to me anyways, is taking away from the things that they've had to go through. And now you're just using it as like a fun little word, or like a word that's like, oh yeah, this is fun. And like, another thing is, people say things like it's just a word or things like that. And that's where ignorance falls in. Because like, I know that a lot of times, like, I'm not quick like, I'm not going to jump to say that someone's racist if someone says it once, unless they're, you can tell when someone's saying it to be racist and when someone's just saying it because they're ignorant. Like, I think I've heard it in both ways before, not necessarily directed to me, but to other people. So it's like, a lot of times other people would say it to a black person to make them, to push them down and to make them feel bad, and saying it to them like that's not to uplift them or anything like that. And then you also have people who say it to like say it around their friends or things like that, but they're saying it in a sense that they're like, oh, I'm a minority too, so I can also say the N-word. But that's not the case, because if you're not black, then you shouldn't be saying it and you can't say it. And I think that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, I know it's been talked about more, but even though it's been talked about, like, as I'm walking the halls in school, I'm still hearing people who aren't black saying the N-word. And I'm just like, I don't understand why you're saying this word, because I know that you're not black. It's pretty clear that you're not black. You know that you're not black, yet you're still saying it. And that's where, like I said before, that's where ignorance comes in. Because there is a difference between racism and ignorance. Like I was saying before, the racism is when they're using it to offend black people, saying it to black people to insult them and push them down. But ignorance is where they're just saying, because they're like, oh, it's just a word, or like, I'm a minority too, so it's okay. But it's really not okay, because you didn't, like, even though you're a minority as well, and you've also had to go through things that are like that, like, are bad, and have had to come back from those struggles and things like that. I don't think that it like gives them the entitlement to like be able to say the N-word or anything like that. So that's why I just get like pretty bothered when like I hear non-black people saying it, because I'm just like, it's not okay for you to say. And like, I don't know, like, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's just really frustrating, because even if you try to like talk to them, they'll just be like, oh, like, it's just a word, or like, I was saying it in a song or something like that. But I'm like, that does not give you the excuse to say it. Like, it's just like, that doesn't automatically say that it's okay for you to say it or anything like that. And then also, I think I was watching like this, I think it was a cut video, actually. Yeah, it was a cut video, and it was like asking 100 people, like, are you racist? And so some people, I think it was like the one white person said something like, oh, like, I say the N-word in my car, like, whenever I'm singing like a song or whatever. But I'm just like, okay, first of all, why are you admitting that when you know this video is going out like on YouTube, like, to the public? Second of all, that's not okay. Like, saying, oh, I say like when I'm by myself, not like around other people, and not to black people or anything like that. But I also don't think that's okay, because that's also ignorance. Like, that is also showing you don't understand that you're just not supposed to say it, whether you're by yourself, whether you're in a group of people, whether you're with one other person, whether you're with another black person, another person of your own race who thinks it's okay to say it as well. It does not matter. You don't say it, period. And I also think it's really important that those who do understand the reason why you shouldn't be saying this word and those who understand the history of it and whatnot, they should use that knowledge that they have to educate other people on why they shouldn't be saying it, on why it's not okay to say it, and why they should then too, like, it's like a ripple effect. Like, if you continue to educate other people, they too will then go to other people and more people and more people and more people, telling them about this word and why they shouldn't say it, etc., etc. And so I just think it's important that, like, we should, like, educate others on why they shouldn't say it. And also another thing that I've heard from other people as well is, like, defending people who do say it, like defending their behavior. And I don't understand that. Or like, oh, they don't say it around me, or like I talk to them about it and they don't say it around me anymore. But like, it doesn't matter if they're not saying it around you, they're still saying it, which means they still don't understand that they shouldn't be saying it at all if they're not black. And so, like, it's not enough to just say, oh, they don't say it around me anymore. It's only enough when they just don't say it, period, when they don't even think it's okay to say it, even when they're by themselves, like I was saying earlier. So, like I said before, it's just really important that we use our knowledge to educate other people on it as well. And another thing I hear people say a lot is like, oh, if they say it with like a hard R or just like with an A. It does not matter whether or not it's with a hard R or an A. I don't care. Like, it does not matter. Do not say it at all if you're not black. So, like, a lot of times people say that with the hard R is like when it's racist. And then like with just an A, like it's not racist or whatever. But I feel like, well, like I was saying before, like there is a difference between ignorance and racism. But like I feel like whether or not it's with an R or with an A, if someone's saying it to a black person to be insulting, I'm gonna consider that racist, whether or not it's with the hard R or with the A. Like, it doesn't really matter to me. I just think it shouldn't be said like either way. Like it's not. It doesn't depend on whether or not it's with the R or with the A. Although a lot of people know that they shouldn't use the word to refer to black people, a lot of people then bring up the question, what about referring to the word itself? And I think that's just like a stupid question, honestly, and a stupid, like a useless attempt at trying to have a reason to say the word, which like goes back to the whole what's the fascination with the word in the first place, and why are people so eager, why are especially a lot of white people so eager to say the word when they know they shouldn't. So once again, if you're like not black, you just shouldn't say the word. It's not that hard to wrap your mind around, honestly. And so I just think that if you're talking about like, oh, well, what if like it's just to refer to the word, I'm not using it against anyone. It doesn't matter if you're not using it against anyone, you just shouldn't say it. And if it's to refer to the word, then you can very easily and very simply say the N word or the N word, to where, because I mean, like, I don't say it, like I said earlier. I don't think I should say it, and so I don't say it. And so if I'm talking about the word, I'm going to say the N word. I'm not going to say it just to refer to the word. And then if someone's like, oh, what are you talking about, the N word? Then I guess I would spell it in that case. But I feel like everyone basically knows what it is anyways, to where you don't even have to spell it either. But I just think asking a question like, oh, what if I'm just referring to the word? Or what if I'm like reading something or anything like that is just like a stupid like way to try to, or have some kind of excuse to say the word anyways. And also with reading it, I feel like you can just skip over the word, because I know sometimes when there are uncomfortable words for people to say, or maybe other words that they don't like, they may have some type of derogatory, that's like a derogatory term or some kind of inappropriate word or whatever. And if they're reading something out in a atmosphere where there's like a lot of people and they're told to read out loud, then a lot of times those people skip the word. So why is it different with the N word? Why do people feel like they have to say it even though they don't? So like I said, just skip over it. It's not the hard, like it's not anything that you need to make bigger than what it really is. And another thing that I personally have a problem with is like in movies and stuff, when non-black people are saying the N-word, like it really makes me uncomfortable, because I'm like, I know they're acting, but I just feel like that's still them saying it. Like, I understand it's acting, and I understand it's to fit like whatever story is going on in the show or the movie, but I also have a problem with that. I've like tried to think of like what can I say as an alternative for that, but I haven't really thought of anything, honestly, besides just not saying it. But yeah, that's like something that I've kind of like, whenever I hear it in a movie or show and it's like a non-black person saying, I'm just kind of like, it kind of like makes me cringe a little bit. I'm like, oh, like why are they saying it? And then a lot of times I also like see things about like what if like in classes or like a college classroom, and like a lot of times it happens more in college though than in high school or middle school, and definitely not elementary school or anything like that. But people will say like things like that. What if like when they're like the teacher is teaching something, or like it's in the textbook, or other things like that. But that just goes back to what I'm saying. Like if you're not black, then you just don't say it. You can easily skip over it. You can just say the N word. Like you don't actually have to say the word, because that goes with like maybe any like other curse words that people don't want to say. They'll just say like the first letter of the word without actually having to say the word. So that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like no one can really use an excuse as to why they say this word when they're not black, because there really is no excuse, and there's so many ways that like you don't have to say it. Like I feel like you're never gonna be like, there's no excuse that you can use as to why you said it, except for you chose to say it and you were just being ignorant and dumb, honestly, and that's why you said it. And so I just think that people should stop trying to make excuses for it. And like I said before, definitely not defending other people for saying it or defending themselves. Like, do not defend people, because that's just so annoying. Like it's almost worse than saying it. Okay, well, like I said, almost, not exactly worse than saying it, but like defending other people for saying it, like it's like, okay, this is like an extreme example and something extreme to relate it to, but like let's say someone killed someone and they killed someone for like no reason. Okay, there's no reason to kill anyone, but anyways, and you're like defending it. It's like, why are you defending that behavior? So that's why I kind of look at it like that. Like I said, I know that's an extreme example, but like defending people who are saying it when you know they shouldn't be saying it just bothers me as well, and that just makes me really mad, because I'm like, you should not be defending this behavior. If anything, you should be telling them, oh yeah, you definitely should not have been saying that. Like you should really stop saying that before like someone else who may react differently gets bothered by it. And something else that I would actually like to address as well is the fact that in a lot of places that are like majority white people, I feel like the proper like measures aren't taken when a non-black student, or like in schools, is what I mean, when a non-black student says the N-word or says it to a black person. I feel like the proper measures aren't taken to like help that, like to like help the white students see why they shouldn't be saying this word. And yeah, because I know like where in the area like where I live and stuff, there have been a lot of schools that have had people, like white people, say the N-word, and like the school finds out, and then it's like they threaten to expel them, threaten to suspend them. But then later on I find out that they don't actually get expelled or suspended. It's just like all talk. And I never understand that, because I'm like, they're being racist. Like they're using this as a derogatory, they know it's a derogatory term, and then they're saying a racial slur to a black person to offend them and using it in a harmful manner. So why on earth are they not getting punished for this, and the right action is not taking place? Like I even know someone who, like someone had said, so she's black, and a non-black person, a white person, had said the N-word to her, and she got mad and got offended, of course, and she punched the person. Granted, I don't believe in violence or whatever, but like in this case, I mean, I feel like I'm not gonna be like, oh, like why'd you do that? Because like, I mean, like someone's insulting you, and it was like on numerous occasions. This was not like the first time it happened. Like it was like multiple times, and so she punched her because she got mad. And like I said, I'm not for violence or anything. I'm not gonna like say yeah to violence, but like at the same time, like I understand why she did. Like I understand that anger, and so this person who punched the girl, the black girl, she got suspended for 3 weeks. Okay, but then the person who said that the racial slur, once again, multiple times, wasn't just once, and there was evidence that she did too. It wasn't like it wasn't like a she said, he said. And so like that person didn't get any type of punishment at all. Like they just got to keep going to school or whatever. And I didn't understand that, because I was like, that doesn't even make any type of sense at all. Because then that's what I'm saying. Like in this is like a whole another topic on its own, probably like even like another episode. But like the punishments that take place in school for different things never make any sense to me, because I know that there was this other thing that happened, and it had to do with these people who were like these boys who were harassing this girl. But then for that they got 3 days of ISS, which is just in school suspension, which didn't make any sense to me, because I feel like something for that as serious as that's like cause for expulsion in my opinion. But then someone was defending themselves and punched someone because they were getting called a racial slur again on multiple occasions, but then they got 3 weeks of suspension. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it does not make any sense. But then if that white person was to go around and keep saying the word, or or things like that, like keep saying the word to that person, which they did, even after the person came back from their suspension, they didn't have any type of punishment for it. So basically what I'm saying is that like it's just unfair. And I know like people say like life's not fair, the world's not fair, blah blah, whatever. Like, I know and I understand that, but I still feel like each person has the right to try to, I guess, fight that unfairness and try to make it to where it doesn't have to be as unfair. And so I just think like basically what I'm saying in general is that like the whole thing and the whole gist of what I'm saying is that if you're not black, don't say the N-word. If you hear someone who's not black saying the N-word, definitely call them out on it, and you should definitely educate them, because they need that education if they're still saying it, because that shows ignorance. And yeah, you should just really try to understand why it's not an okay word to say when you're not black. And even if you, and then also I know there's some people who are black who are also offended by other black people who are saying it as well. And I completely understand that, and I completely, totally get where you're coming from. But I think in that case, you should also try to see where those black people who feel like they now have a right to say it, I also think that you should try to see where they're coming from as well. So, yeah, this comes to like a close of this episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I definitely think I enjoyed recording it, so I hope that you guys enjoyed listening to it. I hope you're excited, because this season is going to have some really good episodes, and I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are excited too. And that's the gist. See you guys next Saturday.